One of the questions we get asked the very most is, do you have a therapist you can recommend for me? And while we wish that we knew of therapists in every single place, in every single part of the country, we don't. So, what do we tell them instead, Mel?
We say check out BetterHelp because it's online, it's at a reasonable price, and you can be matched with a therapist within 24 hours. I've also used them and they have been great. And if you don't like your therapist, guess what? Click, and get a new one.
Absolutely. It's so hard when you have an in-person therapist if you're not clicking with them to cut them off and get a new one. So that's not an issue with BetterHelp. So we always tell people to try BetterHelp. And if you use our promo code, which is
trybetterhelp.com/WWDN,
you get 10% off your first month.
Go ahead and try it out. That's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN. And you know what? I'm a big fan of doing therapy where you don't have to wear pants, but nobody knows about it.
Are you wearing pants right now, Mel?
I'll see you later. Bye. That's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN.
Good almost All Saints Hallows Eve.
Good pre-Halloween to you too.
Yes, what is it called?
Halloween?
No, but before that, it's All Hallows Eve, and then there's something about saints.
I don't know.
We're failing as Catholics, Mel.
Oh, it's because we're not Catholics.
I'm gonna Google it.
Okay.
Okay, so All Hallows Eve is Halloween.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome. You learned something new today.
Sure did. Meanwhile, all the listeners are probably screaming. They know the name.
It's yeah. Well, do you have your Halloween costume figured out?
No.
Are you gonna be a sad widow in a hoodie?
Yeah. Or a neutral widow in a hoodie.
Okay. Braless,
Of course.
eating caramel popcorn.
Yeah. Oh, did you know at Costco they have these things right now? They're s'mores, like covered s'mores.
Are they like little bits of those
It's
things?
bits of all the s'mores covered in
Yes.
chocolate.
Yes, I've had them.
Oh, yeah. I got them today. It's 100 calories per thing. Beware.
Per like half-inch square little
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. Oh well. You gotta live a little, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have great news for you, Mel, and I know that you've been waiting to hear this for years from me. But remember back a while ago when you gave me a Jabba the Hutt costume?
Yes.
So it had a broken blower, like it didn't have one of the pieces, and I finally ordered one.
No way.
And it works again. And I'm going to send you the picture of me in it right now because I want your happiness to go up higher than it is right now. I want you
Okay.
to be so happy that you can hardly stand it. We need to post this picture too because it's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Jabba rises again. I'm so happy.
I had to take that selfie style and Jabba looks kind of, I don't know, Jabba looks more like a Christmas tree to me. He's a little thinner than he should be.
He looks like he has hips.
Because of how I'm holding my hands too. It's fantastic.
Put this up on the Instagram
Yeah,
so
so you guys
everyone
can
can
see.
see.
That's what I will be for Halloween. Although all of my kids are trying to steal it, so they might win.
You're
Because
welcome
thank
for
you.
the costume years ago.
Yes, yes. I hope that you have a fabulous All Hallows Eve and that somebody brings you some candy because you're not going to get it out. You're not going trick or treating to get it.
No, of course not. But are you going to be taking your kids trick or treating while wearing the costume?
No,
Are you opening the door while wearing the costume?
correct. I'm not, I can't leave my house. That's too much effort. So, yeah. And my kids are kind of, all of them plan to go trick or treating, even the 19-year-old. So, which some people might say that's not okay, but she has like her friends' parents' houses that they've got picked out that they're just going to go trick or treat at five houses and then have a party. But,
That's reasonable.
yeah, yeah. And I'm also just like, you know what? Just go and do and have fun and who cares? Just don't light anything on fire, no property damage, be nice, and then whatever else. I don't care.
I'm really enjoying seeing the lawn decorations that people put up for Halloween. That's giving me some joy right now.
Yeah, we have the Kraken on our front lawn.
My friend has a big spider that's the size of her entire lawn.
Oh,
And then they
that's big.
wrapped they it's like a mummy,
Hmm.
but it's wrapped in batting or something, so it looks like the spider wound it up and it's a human-sized
That's
person.
terrible.
It's
That's kind of
awesome.
scary. We
Yeah, I
have a
like it.
giant spider too, but not quite so big. Just like fairly big.
Nice.
So
Speaking of Halloween and spookiness, you guys,
spooky.
some of you have answered the call.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. I'm kind of always a little bit bothered because if you're going to be a widow, the least that we can request is some decent hauntings, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some of us are not so lucky to have those. But
Yeah,
we
we've
asked you guys to share.
yeah, we've wanted some stuff to be moved around or broken so that it was very obvious. And I guess Scott and Jason don't work that way. Although Scott did do a couple things, I would
Oh,
say, right after he died,
okay.
but I wanted more.
Yeah.
It was selfish.
Okay, we asked you guys. You provided some spooky stories. I mean, they're not like spooky in the
There
sense of like scary. They're just maybe.
maybe a little woo-woo things, just stuff that happens after a loved one dies that maybe hadn't happened before. So we asked for some submissions and we got some. So we're looking forward to reading those to you today.
Yeah. Okay. Can I start by telling you one that my in-laws told me that's not necessarily widow related, but can I still share it?
Oh yeah, go for
Okay.
it.
So my in-laws are from back east, kind of Pennsylvania-ish, and um my in-laws sister, so their aunt lived in New Jersey, and she bought this house. It was like an old Victorian mansion, and before she owned the house, there were three levels to the house, and the top floor they had used it as a place for wayward girls to live. So perhaps girls who had gotten pregnant before they were married, things like that. It was kind of like a group home situation. So there was a fire there, and the third floor lit on fire, and they don't think anybody died in the fire. They're not sure about that, but they couldn't live up there anymore. They sold the house, and their aunt bought the house. And when she bought the house, what they did is they took out the staircase to the third floor, and they just basically put a new roof on. So now the whole house is only two levels. Okay. But there was a third level for a long time before that. So my sister in laws were staying there in the summer one year, and the aunt had gone to work, and she left her car behind for them to do what they were going to do. Well, sister in law A was just hanging out, and sister in law B was in the shower, and all of a sudden they hear somebody running down the steps that do not exist
What?
and close a door, right? And the sister in law who was in the shower came running out of the shower in a towel and said, "Did you hear that?" And the other one was like, "Yes." They both heard somebody run down the steps loud enough for the one in the shower to hear it. And the one who wasn't in the shower was like, "We have to go right now." So the other one threw on clothes and they just left because it was so spooky and scary.
That's creepy.
The end. Yeah. So they don't think it was one of the girls. They're not sure if it was like somebody who lived there before, but it does kind of make for a good story if it was like somebody from the fire or something.
Hey guys, just checking in and want to say if you are enjoying this podcast,
And you want to see it keep going, maybe it's helped you through your widowhood journey and you think that it might help others on their widowhood journey, you can support that cause by joining our Patreon.
some of the things that you get as a Patreon beneficiary are ad-free episodes, so you don't have to hear ads like this.
You also get exclusive content, and at a certain level, you might also get an exclusive t-shirt. You can only get that place.
That is true. It's pretty cool. There are 4 different tiers available, so check it out. It's patreon.com/WWDN.
And as an extra bonus, very often you get your names read by one of my kids, and they will do a terrible job with the pronunciation. And that's like a bonus, I
I
think.
think it's kind of the best. I would much rather hear somebody butcher my name than say it correctly.
A child butcher it than an adult do it correctly. Yep. So go to patreon.com/WWDN to keep our podcast going and support the widowed cause.
Yes! Thanks, guys! Back to our regularly scheduled program. I taught in a haunted building one time and it always moved stuff around. Yeah. I have so many stories from that. So I might share one at the end of these.
That reminds me of another haunted story that has nothing to do with death, but my sister works at the airport, at an airport, like a small regional airport, and they left one night and they came back and all of the pamphlets that they have on a desk were like just everywhere, all over the room. And they have security cameras. So they got out like and watched the security cameras and like no explanation for why all of the stuff was like torn apart in in the airport.
Okay, I recently played in a theater in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is a very haunted city, apparently. And stuff like that was happening in the pit when we were all gone. And it's the same kind of thing. Like, there are really strict rules for when people can be in there and when they're not, because there's unions and all this and that. And something was moving items around the pit and it wasn't a person and they couldn't figure out what happened. So we just said, oh, there's the ghost. I loved it.
I feel like that's super appropriate. Like that's very Phantom of the Opera-esque,
Yeah,
right?
it was very on brand. Okay, so we're going to start with the first submission that we got. And if there are names in here, then we will read them. And if there are not, then we won't. So hopefully that's okay.
Sounds like a good way to do it.
So it was a few weeks after my husband had passed. I was driving in my car, had the radio on, not Bluetooth or my phone. My car radio starts spazzing. I mean, making all kinds of squeals and noises. Then my husband's ringtone starts playing like I'm getting an incoming call. My screen even tried to get me to answer it. It only lasted a few seconds, but no one else has that ringtone. It was a song I specifically picked for him.
Don't you wish that she could have answered it and he would have been like, "Hello from heaven."
What if it was like just and he was trying to speak through the static?
That would be almost terrifying, don't you think?
Yeah, but still.
When my dad died, my friend gave me a 3D printed picture of the two of us that you put a tea light behind. The tea light operates like another tool we use in paranormal investigating, so I set it up on my bookcase and said, "Okay, Dad, if you want to make yourself known, just turn this on." Months went by, and I walked by and was like, he wasn't present in mortal life. Why would he show up now? Fast forward to August of 2022. We were getting ready to take some of his ashes to a local national park. We were leaving on Thursday. Monday morning, I got up, went into the bathroom like I do every day, and when I came out, the light was as bright can be. My dad passed in November of 2021. I talked to it for a bit. It'd go up and down in brightness as I talked. Eventually, I had to go to work. When I got home, the battery wasn't dead, but it was turned back off. It hasn't come on since.
What?
Yeah, and she sent a picture of that one. We'll have to include that with our
Ooh, excellent.
Instagram.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
All right, here's the next one. I had asked my husband to give me some kind of sign that he was with me. A few days later, I was sitting on the couch around 5 in the morning, which was his favorite time of the day. This is when we would sit and have coffee and cuddle the dogs before going to the gym. We have the Life 360 app so we could see each other's location. At this point, his phone had been sitting on my kitchen island for over a month. All of a sudden, I got an alert on my phone that my husband had just arrived home.
No.
Yes.
What?
I quickly opened the app and it showed his phone had been home for 30 days. So there's no reason I should have gotten notified that he, quote, arrived at home. It was very cool. Yeah.
That's
Good job.
crazy. Okay, so we all need to download Life 360, or maybe not. Okay, that was fantastic. All right, here's our next entry. Okay, actually, I want to say I just asked about this on Instagram also, and somebody just responded to our story with one word. And I have so many questions, and it just says orbs. So if you sent that reply, I need to know. I need to know more.
Yeah, can you give us more detail?
Orbs.
Guess what's crazy? So one of the stories that I have of Scott has to do with orbs.
What?
So you know how he directed a show? He directed Tale of Two Cities, and then he died.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the person who wrote the show was out from New York watching their production, and she had visited before, and she and Scott had become good friends. And so the show comes and goes. It's great. Everybody loved it. Scott freaking dies. And then this writer of the show ended up, she heard that Scott had died from Facebook. And she sent one of my friends
That made it sound like he died of Facebook.
He probably did die of Facebook. Our mutual friend who worked with Scott at the theater texted me and said, the writer's name was Jill, and she goes, "You're never going to believe what Jill just sent me." And she sent me this video and along with the text from Jill, and it said that she was in her apartment and she had been thinking about Scott and grieving and all of that, and all of a sudden these orbs started appearing in her apartment in New York.
What?
And so she pulled out her phone and recorded it. And somewhere I have to find it. I didn't have time to do it today because I just am remembering this. But yeah, she would talk to it and it would like flitter and float. Of course we were like, well, is your light on? Is there something outside your apartment window? And she, was saying the same thing in the video. And she's like, is that you, Scott? Is that the light? And she would go all around the room with her camera, and it wasn't. It was definitely orbs of light. And they were moving in a way that it wasn't just light coming in from a window. It was wild. I got to find it so we can put it up.
What was the name of that person?
Jill.
Okay. I was going to say, what if it was the same person and they were just reminding you, but this person has a different name?
So. Yeah, and she's not a widow either.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Orbs. Okay. That's my orb story.
Orbs. Okay.
And I remember I was also so mad because that's when I was like, Scott, appear to me with orbs. But I'm glad that at least he appeared to someone that had the wherewithal to get their camera out and film it.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a one that's a little bit more substantial, but these are short because they were replies on Instagram stories. This one says, "My car radio will change volume on its own. A little sign from them, and it happens in two different cars. So it's not just one, like one car that's weird."
Whoa.
I wonder how often that happens and if it ever correlates with certain dates or things that are going on. Like the story about the tea light, they were about to spread his ashes for the first time, and that's when it turned on. Maybe he was like, "Don't take my ashes there." Or maybe he was like, "Good."
Or what if it correlates with whatever is on the radio or the, the music, or maybe it's like a certain lyric or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And always is like, doesn't it always seem to be electricity related?
Yes. My dad is good at
electricity.
that, I have to say. When he died, because before he died, I was like, "Dad, you better haunt me better than Scott does." And he's messed with the radio before and with phones. And every time it happens, I'm like, "Yes, Dad. I'm so proud of you." Okay. Here's another submission. This person has had two things happen. Here's the first one. Both kids and I play Spotto in the car. Because we see so many yellow cars, we decided to make a rule that if you see a pink or purple car, you're the winner of the week. Well, 5 minutes later, we had a hot pink car drive past us just around the corner from our house. It was like Barbie's car. We had never seen it before then, and we haven't seen it since.
That's like the winner of the year, hot pink.
Yeah. Here's the number 2 story from this person. I have had some very weird bird visitors. To put things into context first, John was a private pilot. We made a few comments how he has now found his other wings. When I planned his cremation, I organized for both my kids and I to have a little sparrow-like bird each that was an urn. The next day, I went with the kids to the beach to find some solace. It was a stormy day, and the beach was gloomy. While we were there, we were accompanied by a willy wagtail bird that kept hopping around us.
What?
I don't know what that is, but I like its name.
We have to pause to Google a willy wagtail. Oh, it's cute.
Aww.
Okay, it's Australian. That's part of maybe why we don't know. They're native to Australia. They are not, we're not worried about them. Their conservation status is of least concern. Okay, they're little black and white, cute little birds. Okay,
Aw, good.
keep going.
Okay. The bird never left us the whole time. There were no other birds on the beach. I followed my kids, then returned with them. At John's funeral, as we were all ready to leave, we noticed the print of a bird from dust off its wings and all on the glass window. Since then, I've had birds fly really low and slow in front of my car, sit on my back fence, and stare in my kitchen window for ages. And recently, a boo-book, look that up, Anita, a boo-book owl that calls out in our street. John and I used to go outside at night to check out where they were hanging out, as it's not real common in our suburbs. It's calling out right now as I write this email.
Oh my goodness.
Stop.
Okay, wait. This is the Boo Book's call. Can you hear it? Yeah, it's not very good quality, but yeah.
So it's like,
Boo Book.
maybe that's where it got its name.
Yes. Okay, sorry. I interrupted.
You know who would know? Our friend Aubrey.
Yes, and our Australian friends might know also.
Yep.
Okay.
Your turn.
I'm so excited you are doing this episode. Thank you. So are we. My wife has been messing with me for a while. She and I have a fake tarantula that we got as a Halloween decoration probably 10 years ago. We were just talking about that. We used to try to scare each other year round with this stupid spider, leaving it in random places in the house. We got pretty creative with it. I remember one time she left it in the dishwasher for me and I nearly fainted.
Oh my gosh.
Since she died, the spider continues to show up in different places, moving around when no one has been home, or I find it in places my daughter doesn't go, like the basement or my closet, etc. It's never where I leave it. It scares the crap out of me every time. Kind of annoyed that I can't get her back with it anymore.
Oh my gosh. Moving objects. That's so good.
And a spider is like the
ultimate creepy.
is ultimate, yeah, scare tactic. Okay,
Wow.
your wife wins for leaving
For
scary
moving
things places.
objects. Yeah. Like what has to happen in the afterlife or with energy or whatever, like to move something?
I don't know.
I want to know. Okay, this one is from a listener and it is a story about her aunt who had passed away. This is about a visit from my aunt, who was very much a spiritual guide for people in her life, focused on healing the body and soul through her alternative therapy work. She was deeply connected to nature and just as deeply connected to the grief process, often being the person to sit with someone, whether she knew them or not, as they passed. It was a joke that when she was around, you couldn't get through a conversation without something about death popping up, relevant for this story. That's funny. I feel like she would be our friend, Anita. My aunt was not married. She lived alone and was only 54 when she unexpectedly collapsed on a hiking trail and died suddenly.
Ooh.
It's safe to say no one was prepared. I remember going to her house looking for anything that might help us. Documents, files, anything. After I stopped looking in the expected places, like her file cabinet, which was simply full of files of maps and information about national parks that she wished to visit, I happened to look up at her dresser and picked up a notebook covered in a pattern that was familiar to me from the many years she had wrapped my birthday gifts in that very design.
Oh, that is such, isn't that like the funniest thing how my grandma used to do that too? She would buy 40 rolls of the same wrapping paper when it was on sale. And so, like, for years, every gift. But my grandma also tried to save it and reuse it again. So there's like one wrapping paper pattern. I totally see you in recognizing the wrapping paper. Continue.
On the arbitrary page I turned to, I found a grid titled Things I Want When I Die and Letter to My Nieces.
Oh,
I proceeded to read a beautiful incomplete letter written for me and my cousins, along with a description of items she wished to be given to individuals in her life, as well as her wishes for a memorial and where she wanted her remains. In another half ripped page from the notebook, she wrote of music she had thought about for a service. Quote, I always liked the song Blackbird and Sarah McLaughlin's song I Will Remember You. In a situation where we should have been lost at how to proceed, she had mapped it all out for us because, of course, she had been thinking about death. I remember it feeling as eerie as it was comforting to know our plans were being guided by her. On the day of her memorial 1 year later, I had prepared to sing I Will Remember You. My cousin was to sing Blackbird, but when the day came, my cousin didn't feel she could sing the song. We almost decided to go without it, but I didn't feel right about doing the memorial without all of my aunt's wishes being recognized, so I sang Blackbird. The memorial came and went, and when I arrived home that evening, I opened my email to a note from a distant family member who had attended the gathering. She said the memorial was beautiful, and I don't know if you know this, but while you sang Blackbird, a large blackbird circled
what?
high overhead throughout the entirety of the song. Only when the song ended did it fly away. I was sure it was my
Oh,
aunt, willing herself to be seen and felt in nature, exactly where we knew she always belonged.
it would have been cool if it was a black vulture circling the funeral party. That's actually cool though.
That's amazing. On all of these, I don't even have words because they're just
Yeah.
so unbelievable. It's like I'm picturing it happening, and then
Yeah.
my mouth is open.
Yeah. That's all I have to say too, because it's really cool.
Wow.
My second ghost story was a few months after my dad passed away from an aggressive cancer. The 2 years from his diagnosis to death were rough. We were best friends, and neither one of us wanted to imagine a world without the other, even though it was inevitable. During his diagnosis, my family decided to sell a cabin that was very much my dad's legacy. My dad and I were both beside ourselves, it being the place that represented so much of our relationship and the little literal rock we built our lives on since my dad was 11. I was able to make one final trip up to save a few items, mostly trinkets that represented memories. My grandpa's 5 pound my grandpa's 5 pound mounted bass, my dad's fillet knife, some small paintings done by a family member, odds and ends that were meaningful to me, as well as a small fishing boat. A 50 plus year old skiff that is worth nothing in monetary value but means everything to me. When I got back, a skiff is like a boat, right? Like a
Yeah,
little,
it's like a
okay,
little boat.
okay. When I got back, of course, put the crates of items into my garage to sort through at another time. Once my dad had passed and I was ready to take a look at the memories I had saved, a few months after my dad's death, I came down to my garage one morning, and as I opened the door, that crate was sitting right on the ground, blocking my path. And the mounted bass that I had poorly wrapped was on the hood of my car.
Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic. I'm kind of like thinking in my mind of the singing bass that was popular for a little
I
while.
got one of those. Yes.
Okay. In my mind, number 1, there was no way the fish had survived. If you breathed on it, it would crack. And number 2, how in the world did a crate jump off of a shelf where it was sitting flat on the rack with plenty of room to spare? There was no earthquake. It wasn't near the edge. The only way it was coming down was if someone climbed a ladder, lifted off the shelf, and set it on the ground. Also, fish can't fly, just FYI. Okay, maybe some of them can. The crate itself looked untouched, and the fish was miraculously whole. Everything was sitting upright. Nothing was broken. Nothing else in the garage was touched. It was just sitting there with my boat supplies and a crate full of memories staring at me. The last project my dad and I worked on was installing those shelves in my garage, and the last project we left unfinished was refurbishing my boat. It could just be me putting unrelated signs together, but I firmly believe that my dad, all 5'2" of him, reaching up and bringing down a literal sign. The boat, in a way, represents everything we were about. Quality time spent together, fishing for fun, mostly just listening to the calm and enjoying each other's company. To me, he made the earth literally shake, and the crate fell down to remind me he's still there. Think what you will of my ghost stories. In some ways, I think I look for signs, and I also believe our people live on. And in all honesty, I'm sure they get together and play all sorts of tricks on us to remind us we're not alone and just to have fun wherever they are. Thank you for letting me share my ghosts with you. I can't wait to hear how your people have pranked you and reminded you we're still here.
Fun fact, this person is actually my friend. And I remember when that story happened because she told me about the crate and the fish and all this stuff, right? She lives in Indiana. And I was visiting, and I'm like, I have to see what happened. Show me
Yeah.
like, where was this crate? Show me where your car is. I've been to her place before, but I hadn't seen it since the shelves were up. And I've met her dad before. Hi, Steve. Rest
Oh,
in peace. Keep haunting. You're
all
awesome.
5'2" of him.
Steve is the freaking best. We love Steve. We would like Steve. He had great jokes too. So I was like, okay, show me where the crate was. Show me where the car is. And then I was in there, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no possible way that an earthquake could have happened. And it fell how it did. Because it was like placed perfectly on the shelf before. And then it was placed perfectly on her hood of her car.
Right. Like it would have, if it would have fallen, it would have like all toppled out and all over the place.
And it had heavy stuff in it. It did not dent the hood of her car. And there's no way. I'm trying to think of there's probably like 5 feet. It would have had to have gone up a few inches, over like 5 feet, and straight down to land where it landed. And there's nobody that had access to her garage. And if you had to get it from up there, you'd have to get a little step stool to pull it over and down. Like, when I saw it, I had like chills. And every time we'd go in her garage when I was there that trip, I'm like, Renee, there's no way. She's like, I know. Because we're like, we've got to be making this up, right? And I've seen it myself.
There's like no other solution.
And the fish wasn't broken. Nothing was broken. It's crazy.
Which I'm thankful for, because you got to take care of your taxidermied fish.
Yes. Anita, I hear we have a store.
Oh, we sure do. We've actually had it for quite a while. It's called the Snarky Grief Shop, and it's where you will find all of our best grief merch. That is, yes, a little snarky. For instance, it's where you will find the official widow card that you can pull and use at your convenience.
You can put it in your wallet, and anytime you need to use it, pull it out, play the widow card.
Yeah, we have glow-in-the-dark stickers. We have shirts that say, "Be nice, my husband is dead." We also have the ones that are not quite as jarring, so that you can wear them out in public and not feel weird. But sometimes you need that shirt.
I wear my "Be nice, my husband is dead" to bed because I'm a little scared to go in public with it. But you've worn it on airplanes before with your kids.
Yeah, every time we go to the airport, I wear that shirt because I'm just like, listen, I got to get all these kids through security. Just be nice to me. Thank you so much. And it's worked for the most part.
Some of the less snarky grief shirts are podcast shirts or Widow Wives Club. We also have Resilient AF, right, Anita? What else we got in there?
Yeah, which we're telling everybody who cares, like Mel's mom, that means American fork, because she can't know what it really means, guys.
Yeah.
Stickers and mugs and notebooks and just cool stuff that you can use to express your snarky grief. You'll find it by going to our website, shop.widowwedonow.com. There's a lot of W's in there, so just make sure that you've counted them and there's the right number.
We will link to that in the show notes, and it's also in our app, which you can get from the App Store. Can people get it from our regular website too?
Yes, if you go to widowwedonow.com, there's a link for the shop in there too.
Great. If you'd like to show your snark or have something a little more subtle, go ahead and check that out. Again, that's
shop.widowwedonow.com.
Thank you for sharing that. And also shout out to Aunt Kathy, who I never got to meet,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
but she pranks as well.
I have a story that my friend sent me about Jason.
What?
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's very short. I got this text message and it said, "Okay, Jason literally just said hi to me. We were standing at his grave and the sprinkler by the fence popped up, squirted me, and went back down into the ground. Freaky and made me laugh because that was for sure Jason." And I wrote back, "He peed your pants."
That's a good one.
He said, "Hit mostly my leg. It was seriously the most freaky experience." And then his wife texted me a little while later and said, "So and so is still freaking out about the sprinkler tonight, the Jason sprinkler tonight. All of the girls even thought that it was super strange, especially since it had multiple opportunities to hit the girls, but it waited until it was Brian." I said, "He's telling him to shape up."
Oh, that's good.
She said, "That could be accurate. I just think it was cool. I personally would love to get a little hello sprinkle from Jason." I had actually forgotten about that till we started talking about this. And I was like, wait, yeah, he says hello to other people, but he doesn't say hello to me.
That seems to be like how it goes sometimes. It's like, come
Yeah.
on, man.
Come on.
But isn't it kind of fun later to hear about those when you're not mad that it wasn't you?
Yes.
You're like, okay,
Yeah,
he's out there doing things.
totally.
Here's one. It's a really very quick one. I think it was a response to an Instagram story, so it's really short. But
Yeah.
this person said, "I heard footsteps and the door to my bedroom closed, but no one was there.
Ooh.
Spooky."
Yeah. My in laws are always saying that, like, their lights are turning on and off, and they always think it's their dead people saying hi. Or they were having an issue with their sink, and their sink kept turning on, like, by itself. They're like, "It's Jason," and their mom saying hi. But
Gosh.
I know.
I have two stories from my own personal life. Both have to
Okay.
do with the haunted building where I taught piano.
Okay. Let's do it.
If I've told these before, sorry. I have forgotten because widow brain, and hopefully you all have too, because also most of the people that listen are widows and widow brain. So the first one is I was teaching. Well, I had a bunch of students, but for some reason, a lot of this happened during one particular student, and she was a really funny, awesome, like 10-year-old, 11-year-old girl. And I used to have this box of prizes to kind of trick students into doing things like practicing, like a prize box.
I think this is normal.
Yeah.
You made that sound so much sketchier than it needed to
I
be.
know. Well, because now I don't teach kids, so I'm like, wait, what's the word for that? So there was one prize in there. I just went to the dollar store, and it was like a plastic chick that was clear, and it was really, really light, like not heavy at all.
Like a
Okay.
bird chick?
Yes.
Like a chicken chick?
Yeah, like for Easter, you could pull it
Oh,
apart and
okay.
put jelly beans in it or something. But it had
Okay.
feet, so it would sit flat on the
Oh,
ground.
yeah. I have the vision.
Okay. One of those was in the prize box, and I think that I had it just on the top of the piano. I don't think that anyone had claimed it as a prize yet. But for some reason, during this one student's lesson, the chick would move at different points during the lesson. When we were looking away, we'd look back and it was on a different place in the piano. And so, of course, I'm thinking, oh, well, it's the vibrations of the piano, right? And I'm like, I'll just test this out later. But at first we were like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Ah. So she left, and I did everything I could. When she left, I played the piano. I played it soft. I played it loud. I pushed the piano. It still didn't move. So I have no idea how it was moving, right? So another student in the same building, like I taught in the same building, one time I was facing him. My chair was kind of behind him to the left. And so he'd have to turn around to face me when we were talking. And behind me, there was a whiteboard with markers on it. And I was telling him about the ghost chicken thing. And this was like a snarky high school kid. I loved him. And while I was telling him, a marker flew from behind me off of the board and onto the ground. And I was like, I go, did I touch that? And because I was nowhere near it. Like I was close to it, but not to where I was touching it. And he's like, no, it was the ghost, like deadpan. I'm like, are you kidding? Like joking? He's like, no, it was totally the ghost. I believe in that stuff. But the chick thing kept happening. to the one younger girl student. And I remember one time I had to go out of town, and my mom teaches piano too, and she was subbing for me. And I had been telling her about this chick, and I'm like, Mom, I swear it's haunted in there in here. Like this stuff is happening with this chick. And she was like, oh, interesting. So whatever, I go out of town. She teaches my student. I come back and she's like, okay, I have to say that I didn't really believe you at first, but now I have to tell you what happened. And she was teaching that same student, and all of a sudden, the chick that was on top of the piano, and this is like an upright piano, it it moved from being on top of the piano, all of a sudden going down to the low notes of the piano, like boom, and it stayed upright, but it also made a noise like somebody had banged the bottom keys. The chick was not, it didn't weigh enough to make any sound.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is it heavy enough to like
No.
press the keys? No.
Like think of the weight of a plastic Easter egg.
Yeah.
And so it hit a bunch of notes like all at once. Boom. And then it was upright. It was almost like a ghost hand picked it up and went poof.
And played the
And so
keys.
yeah. So my mom was like, yep, so I believe you now. The end.
What did you do with the ghost chick? Did you have an
I
exorcism?
still have it. No, but I had
Do
to,
you?
yeah, I had to put it away at the time where I was teaching that student. It then started becoming such a distraction because it would move around all the time, that I put it away just because
Oh.
then we never got anything done. So I kind of just, I'm like, I'm sorry, little ghost. Like it seemed like a really playful ghost. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was the same age as my student and was just like playing, but it would come around her a lot. And it would also turn on the radio and stuff because I had like a receiver in there where I could plug CDs and stuff in back in the
Mm-hmm.
time, like a CD player, and it would mess with frequencies and stuff. So it was wild. And then I found out later from the owner of the building that it used to be an old general store in the 1840s. So then I have another story about the building.
Okay. Wait.
What?
I just think it's funny that you defeated the chick, the ghost, by
I
putting it in
won.
a drawer. You're like, yeah,
I felt so
have with you.
bad because I thought it was fun and I wanted to give the ghosts some fun too, but I'm like, these parents are paying for lessons and like this girl's got to learn something.
You're so
Okay.
practical.
So back when I toured with the country singer, we had a rehearsal in this building. We rented it out after the lesson times were over. And our sound guy set up mics and everything. And so we were all rehearsing there. And we were going to be there for 2 nights in a row. And before this happened, the owner of the studio and I had shared some stories back and forth of the different hauntings we both had had. And he had stories of it moving objects when he'd leave the room, like full things of music and then hiding it and then coming back in, like pieces of music, like a sheet music.
Mm-hmm.
It would move it and we couldn't find it, and then he would come back in the room and it would be across the room on a music stand somewhere. It was weird. And he's like, oh yeah, stuff like that happens all the time. So anyway, fast forward again back to this story about we're having this rehearsal. So my friend Joey, that was the sound guy, he comes back the second day and he's like, Mel, I gotta tell you this. He's like, I was listening back to the recordings of the rehearsal. He goes, I know every single person that was in the building, that was in the room. And he listed off all the people. And he's like, but there are little kid voices on there. And I can't tell what they're saying, but they're in there. He's like, there's 2 extra voices that are none of our people.
Were
And
they
I'm like,
saying red rum?
I
Red
don't know.
rum?
And I was like, awesome. So I'm like, did you tell Dave? Dave was the owner of the building. Because I didn't want to say anything. And he's like, no, but I'm going to tell him. So he ended up telling Dave, and Dave was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. And then we did the second night of rehearsal, and like the same thing happened. And then after everything was over, he's like, he decided to tell Joey, he's like, yeah, by the way, this stuff happens, and here's some other stories. And Joey's like, I believe it. He's like, I have recordings of it.
He's like, "Oh, you don't have to convince me." And then he ran out screaming.
Yeah. I was like, the ghost strikes again. I love it. It seemed harmless. Like it never felt like creepy, scary, evil
Right.
to me. It was just like there's some stuff going on, and maybe they're bored. I'd be
Hmm.
bored. Like
Yeah,
when
I
people
don't
come
know.
in, I would mess with them. I'd prank them if I were dead.
I got nothing better to do.
Okay, what's
Um,
yours?
I was just gonna say, so remember how I told you about the brochures at the airport?
Yeah. Okay.
So she said, apparently we have a ghost at the airport. Our brochures went from a clean stack to a scattered mess and a pine cone on top of them, on top of the pile. Nobody was in the building except for the ops guy, so he went back and looked at the security footage. Nobody came into or left the building, and there was a 5-second blip when the mess occurred.
No.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I
So
love it.
either the Twilight Zone or a squirrel brought in the pine cone and then erased the camera footage.
That is a techie squirrel. I like that the pine cone was on top, like a cherry on top.
Like
Here.
I did that. Yeah.
That's epic. I like that.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your ghost stories with us. We want to hear more of them. So if you listened to this episode and you didn't see our call to action to send us your experiences, send them now. We still want to hear them. We get a kick out of them. So send us your crazy ones. And we've had lots of listeners tell us, and we've done this before, but like the pennies and like the floating lights and things like the orbs floating things. Yeah. So tell us more.
Yeah, if you do submit something, just make sure that it's coherent enough that we can read it and it will make sense to be read on a podcast. But yeah, even though it's Halloween and we wanted to do something kind of spooky, fun-ish, lighthearted for this week, that doesn't mean that we don't want to hear them at any time of the year because we're widows. We deal with this stuff 24/7. So
Yeah.
any story that you have that you would like to submit, widowwedonow@gmail.com. And remember, there are two widows in the middle of widow we.
No, there's two
What did
W's.
I say?
Two widows. I
Ah,
mean,
ah. There are two W's in that email next to each other in between the words widow and we. So just make
yeah,
sure you spell it right.
we're really demanding a lot from people whose brains are mush.
I know. Or I think if you go on Facebook, can't they just message us?
Yeah.
You can do that too. Then you don't have to
Yeah.
spell anything except for your story.
Yes. Yeah. We hope you have a fantastic Halloween, that you get some candy, or if you don't want candy, that you get some mashed potatoes or whatever will make your heart happy.
Hot
And
dogs in the shape of mummies.
that's that's actually funny. I had a whole conversation about that earlier today. My friend's family, they're striking against hot dog mummies.
What?
The kids discussed it and they decided that they don't like them.
Why? They're so good.
And easy.
How often do you get to have a hot dog with like not a gross hot dog bun and a delicious whatever that pastry is around it? Come
Uh,
on.
only
Like
on All
eyeballs.
Hallows Eve. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how the votes went down, but it got voted down. So we're just having candy for dinner before we go trick or treating for candy. That's how we roll.
No, that sounds like
Um,
you.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
Okay. Hey, if you guys enjoy the podcast and if you wanted to keep going, we would love if you would consider signing up for Patreon. There are 4 tiers available starting at $5 and up. One of the tiers, the $10 level, gets you ad-free episodes. So
Yes.
there's that. That's pretty cool. But check that out. It's patreon.com/WWDN. Podcast takes money to have it continue to be hosted on a platform and for us to do all of the things required. So,
Website,
yeah,
Zoom account,
all sorts of
Dropbox.
dumb crap that I wish was free, but it's not. So, please consider that if you are able. It's less than Starbucks.
And less calories too.
Yes, way less calories. And for those who are not able to, the poor widows who are not able to support in that way, you're doing a service to help those who are not able to at this time. So,
Yeah.
thanks to those who have supported in the past. You are making this possible for the world.
And if you want to do a one-time donation, you can always buy us tacos at buymeacoffee.com/widow we do now.
I want it to be buy me a hot dog, mummy.
We can make it whatever we want because we just make stuff up. So buy Mel a hot dog mummy at buymeacoffee at widow we do now.
No, buy me a coffee. Wait, buymeacoffee.com/ widow we do now.
Oh my goodness. And always ratings and reviews are very helpful for the algorithms to help people find us when they need to find us. So, and share the episodes too.
And think about it too. Like when you go find a new podcast, what do? You scroll to the bottom. You're like, how many stars is it? And how many reviews are there that are good? And that's how
Hmm.
people decide if they want to listen to this or not. So the more we can get of 5-star reviews and good reviews all together, the better.
Yep.
So that's something that's free. Also, no calories.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well,
Thanks.
happy Halloween, Mel.
Happy
I
Halloween.
I'm Anita.
I'm Mel.
We're just two spooky witches. I mean, widows. We're just trying to figure out widow,
We.
do.
No.
Mel,
Yeah.
we have a major announcement to make.
Go for it.
Did you know that right now all plans on Mint Mobile are what?
$15 a month.
Okay, that's truly ridiculous. Do you know how much regular cell phones are?
Yep.
$1 bazillion a month. 15 is less than that.
New customers get 3 months of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month if you sign up right now. And guess what? I use it. I love it. I've used it all over the country, all over the world, and it's great. And if you're wondering about phones, they have those available as well, or you can just port your own number and your current phone over to Mint Mobile. They make it so easy.
So if people are interested in trying out Mint Mobile, how can they go about doing that?
Go to trymintmobile.com/WWDN. And you know, it's interesting. When my dad died, we actually put his phone on a Mint Mobile plan because it kept his number going, but it was $15 a month. So there you go. And there's different storage plans, but you might as well just get the unlimited because it's $15 a month.
Absolutely. All right, go try it today.
That's trymintmobile.com/WWDN.